Hey, how you doing, class? This is Haley and Justin. We're going to be bringing you job order costing. We're going to give you a brief introduction real quick. And here we go. Our product costing system is a set of documents, accounts, and accounting procedures used to measure and record costs of goods manufactured. Next is job order costing is a product costing system that companies use when producing individual products or batches of products that are unique. The process of job order costing starts when a company decides a specific item needs to be produced for stock or special order comes in for a custom product. Job cost sheet is a form used to accumulate the cost of producing the item or items ordered. This is pretty much the cost of the job. Job cost sheet contains detailed information relating to three product cost categories. The first one is direct labor, the second one is direct material, and the third one is manufacturing overhead. Here we have a standard job cost sheet that includes direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. Here are some standard job costs from a job cost sheet. We have direct materials, which we all know as raw materials, such things as bricks, shingles, and such. Next on our list is direct labor, which is usually wages of assembly workers on an assembly line. Next, we have manufacturing overhead, which usually includes depreciation or the rent of a factory building. Direct material costs. Material of requisition form is used to trace materials to specific jobs using job numbers. They're usually listed as a summary on the job cost sheet under specific job numbers. This action reduces the raw materials inventory and increases work in process inventory. We have an example at the bottom of the slide, and the example starts on 11/18 of 09. The job number is 225 and it's at $11,000. Here we have a standard example of a requisition form for direct materials. Direct labor cost. Workers fill out time sheets to track labor hours per job. Time tickets are posted to the job cost sheet. If there are more than 10 workers, then the time may be combined to one ticket on the job cost sheet. Time must be debited from work in process and credited to direct labor for the specific job. We have an example at the bottom of the slide. It was on 11/18 of 09. The job number was 225, and the usage was $8,000 in direct labor hours. As you can see, in work in process, we debited $8,000, and then at the bottom, wages payable, we credited $8,000. Here we have a direct labor time ticket. As you can see at the top, it's the employer's name, Twin Publishers, and we have the employee name, the job worked on. We have the employee number, the pay date, the date, the time that it started and stopped, the total hours worked, the hourly rate, and the total cost. At the bottom, we have who it was approved by and who it was costed by. Manufacturing overhead cannot be traced directly to manufactured goods. It is usually assigned to jobs using an allocation base. An overhead allocation rate is an estimated overhead cost divided by quantity of allocation base. At the bottom, we have an example of this. On this slide, we have some more manufacturing overhead. The amount of overhead assigned to jobs is the overhead applied. Here, for job 225, overhead applied is $200 per labor hour. Overhead must be recorded using two journal entries. First, we must debit the manufacturing overhead account, And second, we must credit manufacturing overhead and debit work in progress to apply overhead to a specific job. For job 225, manufacturing overhead is $80,000. Here at the bottom is the journal entry. On 11/18, we debited manufacturing overhead $80,000. We also debited work in progress $80,000. And then we credited manufacturing overhead $80,000. On this slide, we have the financial statements for job order costing. On the balance sheet, we have raw materials inventory, work in process inventory, and finished goods inventory. Raw materials inventory records cost of materials on hand that are used to produce a company's products. Work in process inventory records cost of goods that are only partially completed. Finished goods inventory records cost of all items that are completed and ready to be sold. Here we have the income statement. As finished goods are sold, they are considered an expense, and they must be moved from the finished goods inventory to the cost of goods sold using the following equation. Beginning work in progress plus current manufacturing costs minus ending work in progress equals cost of goods manufactured. We also should know that current manufacturing costs includes direct labor, direct material, and manufacturing overhead. In this podcast, we have gone over job order costing. I will now present to you a very short review of job order costing. We define job order costing as a product costing system that companies use when producing individual products or batches of products that are unique. We showed you a job cost sheet and what is all on the job cost sheet. We define job cost as direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. We went through a material requisition form and what to debit and credit on that form. We gave an example of that, and we even showed you what a requisition form looks like. Next, we went to the direct labor costs, and we gave you an example of what to credit and what to debit. We showed you even an example of a time ticket for direct labor. Finally, we went through manufacturing overhead. First, we went through the overhead allocation rate. We gave you an example of that rate. And then next we went to show you an example of how overhead is assigned to jobs, and we told you that this is overhead applied. Next, we showed you what to put on the balance sheet with raw materials inventory, work in process inventory, and finished goods inventory. Finally, we showed you an equation to put on the income statement, and that was beginning work in progress plus current manufacturing costs minus ending work in progress, and this equaled the cost of goods manufactured. And this was to be used for the income statement. So that is a brief overview of job order costing. We would like to thank you for tuning in and giving us your undivided attention, and we appreciate you listening to this, and thank you.